Radio. Scott Tatey here, joined in studio by Dale Reckless. We also have Ruby joining us from Central Valley High School. Dale, good to see you, first of all.
Good morning. Thanks for having me here again.
I've been doing some leg stretches you advised me on to work on leg cramps, and that has been working. Yes.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. You made it real easy, too. You send like videos, and you kind of give how to do.
I can't remember if we talked about that on the air or on the side last month, but there are some things that you talked about, and I sent you a couple exercises. I'm glad you got those, and they helped. And the program that we use for our exercises are real nice because they give you pictures, but they also give you videos of how to do the exercises properly. So it's a really nice program. It's easy to follow. Anyone that comes to see me knows they get a home exercise program on the first day. So when they go home, they already are starting to take an active role on their health and recovery.
Okay, I'm going to make one change here. And we have a model this time. You always have me on the table doing something. We've got Ruby. She's volunteered. Right? You're going to be our...
She's been volunteered is what we're going to say, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just changing
I'm not sure she knows what she's in for when she came in today, right?
Yeah.
So that's okay. It'll be fun. You'll do great, Ruby. You'll be my demo for today because we always do some good demos, when we come here live. And it's really helpful for the viewers. The listeners, if you're riding in the car, you'll listen in and we'll give you the best description of what we're doing as we can. But if you're able to, then I think Scott just got the Facebook post up here.
Yep,
so watch on Facebook because you get a lot of good cues watching on the Facebook post as well.
And I appreciate you always post on your Facebook page a day earlier. You kind of let us know what the theme's going to be. And if I'm reading you right this time, we're going to be talking about breathing exercises and breathing lessons.
Yeah, so let me get my my Facebook here rolling here. 1 second here.
Because I think it's something people probably overlook, the importance of breathing and how that can have a factor on how you feel.
Here, let's see here. There we go. Okay. So it's a very different talk that I'm doing today. One I've never done before, actually. We tapped into it a little bit last month because I did some self-testing with you, Scott, if you remember last month, and one of the tests was a breathing test. So, I decided to do a little bit digging further into that and decided to make today's show all about that breath test because we just kind of tapped into it a little bit last month, and we just did the test, and we didn't really talk about what it meant or, how it affects people because there's a lot to breathing, right? So it's not, you hear people say, just breathe. What does that mean, just breathe? Great song by Pearl Jam, by the way. I was thinking we should probably use that song to cue me in today.
I thought about the Faith Hill song, too. She has a song. Doesn't she also just breathe, I think? Yeah.
I'm not as familiar with Faith Hill's song, but I'm more of a Pearl Jam fan, but yeah. What does breathing mean? It's involuntary, right? We don't have to think about our breathing. But we can control our breathing in some ways, So like that song, Just Breathe, is just kind of about relaxing, focusing. When someone says, do you just breathe? They want to kind of, maybe you're getting anxious, you're getting uptight, maybe you're having some pain. Just breathing is meaning, relax, focus. There's been a lot of research on it as well, and we're going to tap into some of that research today in my talk here and what that means. But so what it means to physical therapy and healing is your breathing actually correlates to proper healing, because if you're not breathing properly, it can affect things like your movement patterns. It can affect low back pain. If you're an athlete, it affects your athletic performance quite a bit. So we don't focus or think about it a whole lot, but breathing is not just important to life, but it's important to our healing and our overall well-being and health. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Ruby's going to be volunteered for doing some of my testing today. So I'm going to actually show and demonstrate the testing that we do for breathing, and you guys at home that are listening can participate as well. That's the one thing I love about doing this show is I like to do things that you guys can do at home and try it out on yourselves. But then I'm also going to show some treatments that we do for breathing, improving your breathing patterns. Research has shown that, through these breathing techniques that I'm going to teach you guys today, it can help improve your breathing patterns. So when we talk about breathing, we're talking really about diaphragmatic breathing, which is a term maybe some people have or have not heard of. But when we're born into this world, we all are belly breathers. We diaphragmatic breathe, which means when you inhale, your belly rises. When you exhale, your belly goes down, and we're going to demonstrate that today. But then as we get older, we become more chest breathers, and that's more of a dysfunctional breathing when we're breathing more from our chest than our diaphragm. So how this directly impacts things like low back pain is we talk about core muscles a lot when we talk about low back pain and the importance and value of an athlete to have good, strong core muscles. Well, a lot of times we're talking about the external core muscles. So you think about your core. Your core is like a cylinder. So if you imagine your core as a cylinder, then you have those strong external muscles, like you see the ones that you visualize. You see like the six-pack muscles that you develop as you focus and get stronger on
Here,
those.
I'll show you my six-pack.
Yeah. But I'm talking about the internal. There's an internal cylinder as well, and that's composed up top of your diaphragm. Okay, so your diaphragm's up here. Your diaphragm's a muscle. We can strengthen that muscle, that diaphragm as well. Okay, and that's what we're going to talk about with the diaphragmatic breathing, because you can get that stronger, and that's really the premise behind what we're teaching with this intervention is working the diaphragmatic breathing, strengthening up that diaphragmatic muscle. The lower part of your cylinder is your pelvic floor, and then in the front and back you have some muscle groups called the multifidus and the transverse muscles. Those are more deeper muscles that kind of compose the rest of your cylinder on the front and the back side. So all very muscular areas that we can strengthen and improve through the diaphragmatic breathing patterns. Now, dysfunctional breathing is shown to be in about 60 to 80% of adults have dysfunctional breathing. So dysfunctional breathing means your breathing patterns are not what they should be, and they can lead to problems like low back pain, movement patterns, balance issues, and things like that. So dysfunctional breathing, we're going to go through the test, but basically it means that you're breathing more with your chest versus your belly, meaning you're doing more chest breathing, top of your lungs than your diaphragmatic breathing. So that's called dysfunctional breathing. Research shows 60 to 80% of adults have dysfunctional breathing patterns, and that can be a couple different, coming from a couple different areas. Basically, three different areas. One's biomechanical, which is what we're going to focus on as physical therapists, because that's something we can affect. One's biochemical, which means you have too much CO2 in your blood, and one is psychophysiological, which means your breathing patterns might change if you're under stress, which that's pretty common too, right? People are aware that when they're stressed, they might start to have different breathing patterns. They might breathe more shallow, quicker breathing patterns. That's kind of a common stress response. But what we're going to focus on today is the biomechanical part of your breathing, how we can assess that. Number one, look at you and say, are you likelihood to have dysfunctional breathing, or you're pretty good? So that's the first test we're going to do. And then if you are positive for the dysfunctional breathing test, then we're going to show you how we dig deeper into looking at the dysfunctional breathing and what interventions we apply to help correct that.
Okay. You want to do a commercial now and come back and get everything set up?
Sounds good.
Let's do that. Dale Reckless from MRS Physical Therapy offices in Beaver and Bridgewater and Cranberry.
Yep.
Giving us tips on breathing to be more fit.
So,
one of the greatest honors a person can receive is to be gathered with their people at the time of their passing. Even biblical authors, when they wanted to explain what it meant to have lived a great, prosperous, and meaningful life, spoke of the individual as having lived a long time and being gathered with friends and relatives near as they closed out their twilight years. Being gathered together with loved ones is something that the J&J Spratt Funeral Home takes very seriously as well. The comfort both given and received cannot be underestimated. J&J Spratt Funeral Home also knows that the honor shown to a loved one at their time of need in this manner is still the right thing to do today. J&J Spratt Funeral Home has been gathering together with area families for 4 generations and looks forward to honoring future residents deserving of being gathered together with friends and family. Click jjsprattfh.com. Moon Township Ford is celebrating the Pittsburgh International Auto Show in a big way. For a limited time, Moon Township Ford is offering Moon Ford Bonus Cash. That's $500 auto show retail trade assistance towards the purchase of an eligible vehicle. Check out Moon Township Ford's complete inventory online at moontownshipford.net. It's the perfect time to buy a Ford F-150, Ford Bronco, or Ford Bronco Sport and get $500 auto show retail trade assistance too. Stop over today and browse their new Ford models and gently used vehicles of all makes and models. Be sure to check out their complete line of inventory. February is the perfect month to buy and get $500 auto show retail trade assistance. Shop their eligible vehicles online now.
Falcone's Moon Township Ford, where friends send friends. Start your day with breakfast at McDonald's. How about a sausage egg McMuffin meal with hash browns and coffee for only $5? Whether you're on your way to work or on your way to school, McDonald's has the right breakfast for you. McDonald's breakfast. I'm loving it.
Step back into time and flip into fun at Pinball PA, the ultimate arcade and museum where classic games come alive. Located off Broadhead Road in the Hopewell Shopping Center, Pinball PA invites you to play with 400 pinball machines and video games from rare gems to your all-time favorites like Pac-Man, Space Invaders, Asteroids, Frogger, and the latest pinball hits. Perfect for families, friends, field trips, birthdays, and gamers of all ages, Pinball PA is open Tuesdays through Sundays with unlimited play for one low price. No quarters needed. Learn more at pinballpa.com.
February might be the month for love, but one thing that's hard to fall in love with around here is the weather. This is Cindy Haladio from Friendly Federal Credit Union. If gray skies, mud, wind, rain, and snow sounds more like something you're trying to avoid, it might be time to have a spring fling and go somewhere or do something that you really love. Check your passport, your gas tank, and the weather forecast for your dream vacation. Then come and see me for the money. Personal, home equity, and auto loans with approved credit might have you packing by the end of this commercial. Maybe even packing the trunk of your new car. Visit friendlyfcu.org for current available loans and terms. Start your search for something you'll love this month at Friendly Federal Credit Union, making more sense for you. Member NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Friendly Federal Credit Union. You got a friend.
We are at 9:16 on this Wednesday morning. Scott Tatey, joined in studio by Dale Reckless from MRS Physical Therapy and Ruby from Central Valley High School, who's about to find out how Dale makes us feel better. And
Ruby
get more
had no
fit.
idea what she was stepping into today, but she is going to get the full shadowing experience of what it's like to be on the radio, right, Scott?
Exactly.
So you got to be flexible, right?
Oh, I
That's
never knew that
probably
until
the key is you got to flex. You
Yes.
don't know. I listened to you a little bit earlier, when I was driving in today, and when you're doing interviews and things like that, you just kind of, Got to roll with it and stay positive, So you're going to get the full experience today. So thank you, Ruby, for volunteering,
Absolutely.
being volunteered, and agreeing to be volunteered today for the experience. So
A reminder, we're streaming on Facebook to get a better feel for what these demonstrations are. I highly recommend that.
yeah, so if you're just driving in the car, we do our best to kind of explain it through. But if you can check into our Facebook Live, or you know what, if you miss it, Scott, it gets recorded, right? And
It
shows
stays
up.
on air stays on our Facebook page for a couple days.
And then it also goes to, you have a YouTube
is
page
true.
that you can also look up as well, right?
Correct.
So
Yep.
if you miss it today, don't worry. You can always go back and look at it. So that's the great thing with social media. If you miss it once, you can always watch it 100 more times.
Exactly.
You can get those likes up and watches up, right? That you guys were talking about earlier.
I'll do some love and heart emojis or thumbs up or something. Yeah.
All right, so what we're talking about today is dysfunctional breathing. 60 to 80% of adults have dysfunctional breathing patterns. And when we talk about dysfunctional breathing, it means more chest breathing than what we want to encourage, which is more diaphragmatic breathing. And actually, we already incorporate this into a lot of our therapy that we do at MRS Physical Therapy. We do it a lot with our TMJ patients because TMJ is an issue with your jaw. You get tightness in your jaw. But there's also a lot of stress component. People that carry a lot of stress end up developing TMJ issues. So we teach this diaphragmatic breathing as a way of relaxing. We teach them proper TMJ position, proper relaxation for their breathing techniques, kind of relaxes the whole body. Once you experience how to work in your diaphragmatic breathing, especially if you hold a lot of anxiety and tension, that's one of the questions that we're going to incorporate today, you'll see the great value of learning diaphragmatic breathing and how it can really relax you. So it has a lot of benefits. Like I said, physiological benefits, the biomechanical part that we're going to focus on today is a lot of physiological benefits. If you're having a lot of back pain, if you have chronic pain issues, learning how to breathe properly can really help with those chronic pain issues. So that's why it has such great value, and it's super easy to do. It really doesn't take any equipment at all. You can do this at home. It really just takes proper training, which is what we do at MRS Physical Therapy. If you want to learn how to do this patterning that I'm going to teach Scott and Ruby today, just come in for an evaluation. I'll teach you the proper technique. It's probably just a couple of visits that you need for the physical therapy, to be honest, to learn how to do them properly so we can cue you. You come back, we make sure that you're doing them properly. But it's a really effective way to breathe. So let's start with the test first. And Scott, you did this test with us last week, if you remember. And the test is holding your breath for 25 seconds. Okay, so 25 seconds is the norm. So Ruby, we're going to see how you do today, but I'm going to describe the test first. And if you're trying this at home, and you take a deep breath in, and then you just normally exhale. And don't exhale all the air out of your lungs. Kind of stop a little bit before that, and then you're going to hold your nose. When you hold your nose, that way I know that you're holding your breath. And then when you get to the point of feeling, and then I'm going to start the timer. When you get to the point of starting to feel a little bit of discomfort, do not hold your breath till you start to get dizzy or feel like you're going to pass out. But just when you start to feel that body reflex, like I need to take a breath, that's the end of the test. That's when you stop. Okay? So we're going to do this with you, Ruby. So I got my stopwatch here and timer. So go ahead and take a breath in. As soon as you hold your nose, I know that you're holding your breath. I'm going to start the stopwatch. Okay. So you can take a deep breath in. You're going to exhale like 80% of your air. Hold your nose. I'm going to start the timer. And then as soon as you feel like a little bit of discomfort, I'll stop the timer and we'll see how many seconds you get. Scott, if you want to play along too, you're welcome to do that. Okay. So Ruby, go ahead. Take a deep breath in. Exhale about 80% out. And then hold your nose. And my timer has started. And everyone in the office here is holding their breath right now. If you guys are trying this at home, I just have a stopwatch I'm using. And remember, the goal is 25 seconds, which is harder than you might expect. Ruby and Scott are doing well here at this point in time. They still are holding their breath. And stop. You guys both made it to 25 seconds. Congratulations, Scott. You did better than last time.
I was just getting ready to bail.
You didn't make it quite last time, but Ruby, you did good. So we got some young lungs here. Do you do any athletics, Ruby?
Yeah, I'm a cheerleader and dancer, and I also do track and fields.
Okay, so we got some good lungs here, some good breathers here. Okay, so that's the first test. If you did not pass that test at home, that's an indication that you have some dysfunctional breathing. If you could not hold that for 25 seconds, and then the other test is this questionnaire. I'm just going to go through real quick. It's just 4 questions, and you're going to score yourself on 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4. So the answer to these questions is 0, never, 1, occasionally, 2, frequently, 3, very frequently. So I'm sorry, it's three numbers. So it's either 0. I'm sorry, it is 4 numbers: 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, or 3. Okay. So the first question is, do you feel tense? 0 is never, 1 is occasionally, 2 is frequently, 3 is very, very frequently. The second question is, you ever feel cold sensation in your extremities, your feet or your hands? 0 is never, 1 occasionally, 2 frequently, 3 very frequently. The next is, do you ever notice yourself yawning, like through the course of your day? Are you a frequent yawner? 0 is never, 1 occasionally, 2 frequently, 3 very frequently. And the last one is, do you breathe through your mouth at night? 0 is never, 1 occasionally, 2 is frequently, 3 is very frequently. So if you scored any of those questions at either a 2 or a 3, which would be a frequently or very frequently, do you either frequently or very frequently feel tense, feel cold sensation in your extremities, notice yourself yawning, or breathe through your mouth at night, then you fall into the classification of being a dysfunctional breather. Okay, so if any of those questions was a 2 or 3, or you did not pass that 25-second hold your breath test, then you would be classified as a dysfunctional breather. And then we need to deep down a little bit further into it. If you were negative for all the tests, the likelihood of you being also a dysfunctional breather is about 90% that you're probably in the clear. Okay,
Let me jump in. You said frequent yawning. We always associate that with I'm tired. I didn't get a lot of sleep, but that can be a function of how you normally breathe.
That's a component of being a dysfunctional breather as well. Oh. So if you scored a 2 or 3 out of any of those, or you were not able to hold your breath for 25 seconds, then you probably fall into the dysfunctional breathing category, and I'm going to do a further evaluation on you. If you passed that test and you scored 0 or 1 and you did 25 seconds, then it's a very sensitive test, and it's not very likely that you're a dysfunctional breather. Ruby, if you were a 0, 1 on all those and you hold your breath for 25 seconds, then you're probably not in a dysfunctional breather category. Mm-hmm. But if you're listening at home and you scored a 2 or 3 out of any of those questions and you did not pass or you did not pass that 25-second hold your breath, you're likely in the dysfunctional breathing category. I want to do a further evaluation to see, okay, is this an issue for this person? I need to dig down a little deeper. And I'm going to do my mechanical assessment to look at your breathing pattern, which Ruby's going to demonstrate on us with us next. Okay.
Let's do it.
So we ready? Okay. Yeah. So what we're going to do is, Ruby, if you can sit up tall for me, so your profile is to the camera. So we give a good profile there, Scott. Okay.
Yes.
And you're going to put one hand on your sternum, your upper chest, and the other hand on your belly. Okay, so what we're looking at is as she breathes normally, and if you're trying this at home, you have one hand on your sternum, your upper chest, and one hand on your lower belly. When you're breathing, do you feel more pressure coming in and out through your upper hand on your chest, or more pressure going in and out through your lower hand, the one that's on your belly? Okay, dysfunctional breathers will feel more pressure coming in and out through their upper hand, on their upper chest, and less through their belly. Okay. There's also something. So when you inhale, go ahead and take a deep breath in. Okay. When you're doing this at home, when you inhale, do you feel more pressure in your upper hand or more pressure going out through your lower hand? When you take a deep breath in, if you feel more pressure in your upper hand, that's a sign of dysfunctional breathing. You're breathing more through the upper chest than through your diaphragm, through your belly. There's also something called paradoxical breathing. When you take a deep breath in, your belly actually goes in versus out. That's another form of dysfunctional breathing. So there's actually 3 different forms of breathing. One is the upper chest is more dominant than your belly. The second is your belly actually goes in when you inhale. And the third, which is the one we want and looking for, is that when you inhale, your belly rises, your belly pushes out. When you exhale, your belly falls in. And that's what we're going to teach, which is called that diaphragmatic breathing, the more normalized breathing pattern. Okay, so that's the first assessment that we do. We do the breath test. We do the verbal test, the exam on the 0, 1, 2, 3, and then we do that assessment looking at someone if they are more of a chest breather or a belly breather, and we want the belly breather part. So if you failed any of those tests, either my assessment or the test that you took or the 25-second hold breath, then we're going to perform interventions to help you train your body to get back to the normal belly breathing that it was born into. Okay?
Yeah, I don't know about Ruby, but I felt more my upper hand. I felt more the pressure inhaling, and you said that's a concern.
What did you feel, Ruby?
I felt more in my stomach. I felt it going out, pushing out more.
Yeah, we knew Ruby was going to be perfect with this, didn't we, Scott? we got a young athlete in here today, and she's going to pass all the tests.
Failed again.
It'll be a good example for us though today. So the great news is that the interventions that I'm going to show you, research in 2020 showed that these interventions improved 80% of the people. So 80% of the people that were dysfunctional breathers, these interventions I'm going to teach you today, they all showed improvements with them. So if you're like Scott and you felt like more pressure in the upper hand, or you couldn't pass that 25-second test, the good news is we can retrain your body. Your diaphragm's a muscle. We can strengthen it. We can retrain the body, thinking about to breathe properly. If you're living with chronic pain, low back pain, or whatever it is, if you're having issues with stress and tension and anxiety, these breathing techniques can really help you out. Okay. So the first exercise is we're going to be in side lying here. So Ruby, we're going to move things around here. If you want to move your stuff out of the way, and I'm going to put things where we need it so the audience can watch us that are participating, watching on Facebook here. All right. So this is our treatment table here. So if you want to, you're going to lie on your side facing the camera that way. Lying on your side. I'm going to put this little towel roll underneath your side here. Lift up right there. Right there is perfect. Okay. So what Ruby's going to do is she's lying, and what we do is what we're doing, just to explain to the audience, is we're going through the developmental process. So when we say developmentally, these are things that you learned from birth, right? You learned how to roll onto your side. You learned how to roll on your back. You learned how to get up on your hands and knees to crawl. You learned to get up into a high kneeling position, a half kneeling position, and eventually you learned how to walk. So that's the neurodevelopmental process. So we're going through that neurodevelopmental process with the breathing pattern, okay? So the first thing you're going to do is Ruby, you're going to put your right hand on your belly. Yep, right there. And what we're going to encourage our patient to do is that when they take a breath in, that they feel the pressure. They're pushing out their lower, their stomach. They're pushing out their stomach into their hand. So when you take a deep breath in, Ruby, go ahead and breathe. And I want that belly. I can see it from the back. Hopefully you guys can see it from the front too. I can see her belly pushes into her hand. And she also should feel her side pushing into that towel. That's the purpose of the towel underneath of her. So Ruby, when you take a deep breath in, like 1, 2, 3, deep breath in, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 out. We want the breath in to be shorter than the breath out. So deep breath in, 1, 2, 3, Then breathe out 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, then deep breath in 1, 2, 3, pushing the belly into the hand, and deep breath out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you're trying this at home, your inhale is 1, 2, 3. About a 3-second inhale, about a 6-second exhale. And you're pushing that belly out into the hand, and that's diaphragmatic breathing. It's strengthening up your diaphragm to work on belly breathing. Now I want you to do is after you inhale, I'm going to have you hold it just for like a 2-second pause. Okay, so inhale, 1, 2, 3, pause, 1, 2, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And do that again. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, pause, 1, 2, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you kind of get the feel and the idea how we're retraining the diaphragmatic breathing here, right? And we would have her do that for about 5 seconds. I would increase the pause from 2 seconds to 4 seconds. So we're pausing the amount of time that she's holding her, holding that breath before she exhales. But we're doing about a 1, 2, 3 inhale, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 exhale pattern. Okay. Also, when you inhale, I want you to inhale through your nose and exhale through your nose. You can either exhale through your nose or exhale through pursed lips. We don't want to do inhale and exhale really heavy through the mouth. We're teaching the nose to breathe. So we want inhale. So let's keep the lips closed on this one, Ruby. And when you inhale, just inhale and exhale through the nose. So inhale, 1, 2, 3, pause, 1, 2, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, and repeat that again. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, pause, 1, 2, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Okay. So that pattern we're going to replicate in all different positions. This should be the easiest position for anyone to try at home because you're side lying. You don't have gravity that's affecting you. It's the easiest position to learn from. Okay. I'm going to take the towel out, Ruby, and then you're going to roll onto your back, and you can keep your knees bent up, and you're going to keep your hand on your belly. Okay, so now for the listeners at home, we have Ruby lying on her back with her knees bent comfortably. That helps take the stress off the low back. Head's comfortable on a pillow. And one hand, you can put one hand or two hands on the belly. It doesn't really matter, but one hand on the belly is fine. Okay, and we're going to use a very similar pattern. So Ruby, we're going to keep your lips closed. You're going to breathe in and out through your nose. We're going to do the inhale, 1, 2, 3, pause, 1, 2, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I want you to feel the pressure of your belly pushing up in your hand as you do it. Okay, so go ahead and inhale, 1, 2, 3, hold, 1, 2, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. And repeat. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, hold, 1, 2, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. You can just relax your breathing now. So if you're trying this at home and you realize your chest breathing too much, and sometimes that helps to cue as well. You put one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest. So you can think about you can think about less pressure through your chest as you inhale, more pressure through your belly. But you really want your belly to rise as you inhale and your belly to fall as you exhale. It should really be coming all from the belly. That is, again, called diaphragmatic breathing. And again, what we're retraining is we're trying to get out of that dysfunctional breathing pattern into a more normalized breathing pattern. Okay? How are you feeling, Ruby? Doing okay? So if you guys are getting any lightheaded or dizziness at home doing this, I want you to take a break because this should not cause any lightheaded or dizziness. You know, you might be in a pattern that's too stressful for you, and that you really should probably come see me and get the training versus just trying out what you see on Facebook. To be honest, right? I always say, don't always believe what you see in on TikTok and Google this or that. Sometimes you just got to go to the professional and have it done. Okay, so next we're going to roll onto your side to face Scott again, so facing the cameras. And put your bottom leg straight, and your bottom leg, or top leg is going to be on this towel roll there. Yeah, just like that. Okay, so now we have Ruby back on her side again, okay? And this is a little bit of a different technique. So adds a little bit of rib rotation. So you're going to put your right hand underneath your lower ribs there. Okay, so Ruby is lying on, for those that are just listening, Ruby's laying on her left side. Okay, I have a towel under her top knee, which is bent forward, and her bottom leg is straight. And she's on her left side. Her right hand is across her body, reaching underneath her body for her ribs. Okay, and what we're working on is increasing thoracic rotation and rib rotation with this. Okay, so she's going to do the same inhale and exhale with the same hold, but as she exhales, she's going to slowly you pull her hand on her ribs and rotate back like this, just a little bit. Okay, so let's start on your side there. Go ahead and inhale. 1, 2, 3. Hold 1, 2. And as you exhale, slowly rotate back, pulling your ribs back. 1, 2, 3, and hold that right there. Okay. So as she exhaled, we're working on her rotating off of her side more onto her back. Her hips and her knees aren't moving. They're staying on the side, but where the shoulders and the thoracic spine is starting to rotate back. Okay. So we're going to do that again. Inhale. Nope. Stay right where you are. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. 1, 2. As you exhale, come back on and pull over a little bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So every time she exhales, we're trying to get a little bit more rotation to the lumbar spine. Let's repeat that again. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Hold. 1, 2. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. So she's using her hand that's on her lower ribs to kind of pull across, kind of trying to get that rotation as she brings her shoulders across. And we would keep doing this until we got to that end point where she felt, okay, that's enough. This is tight. I'm probably not going to go a lot further. And then we would work in this position, doing a little bit more breathing in that position. Feel okay there? Yep. Do you feel like a little bit of stretch with that?
I felt a little bit of a stretch.
You could probably go a little bit more, I'm guessing, because you probably have good flexibility being you do dance and stuff like that, right? So
Now, how many like reps would you recommend for this? How many?
Yeah, so we would be doing 5 reps of each of these exercises, and you would be doing them for a 2-week time period until I had you come back and kind of work to the next progression. Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next one here. So the next exercise, you're going to get up onto a hands and knees position. So just face that way. Perfect. Good. Okay. So now we have Ruby in what we call quadruped or hands and knees position. So what we do here is when she inhales, I'm going to show her the movement first. Okay. So it's called a cat and camel. So go ahead and raise your back up. Yep. And then drop it down. Perfect. Okay. You look like you might have learned this exercise in yoga or Pilates or something before, right? Yeah. Okay, so get back in your neutral position, okay? We're going to do the drop down first, okay? So when you inhale, you drop down and the belly drops down. Inhale. Then as you exhale, you're going to come up into the arching position. Exhale up. Good. Okay. So inhale down. 1, 2, 3. And Ruby's dropping her belly and hips down. Hold. 2, 3. And then up. As you exhale. Go as high as you can as you exhale. Blow it out. Good. And come back to neutral, right in the middle. Okay? So let's do that again. Go down. 1, 2, 3. That's inhale. Hold. 1, 2. And exhale as you come up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All the way up. And come back to neutral again. Let's do that again. Come down as you inhale. 1, 2. Hold. 1, 2, 3. And then come up as you exhale. 1, 2, 3, arch, 5, 6. Good. Okay. So that's the next progression in quadruped. And then the next thing we're going to do is you're going to stay in that position, but you're going to bring your left foot up towards your left hand forward. Bring it all the way up. So you're putting your foot on the table here. No, put your foot on the table like a half kneeling position. Yep, just like that. Good. Okay. This one's pretty challenging, okay? So if you're watching on camera, or if you're just listening, I should say, Ruby went from that quadruped hands and knees position to bringing one foot up forward. So she's kind of in a half kneeling position, kind of an awkward position, to be honest, but this is a nice, another progression that we do.
Kind of like a track and field thing. You said you run track and field.
Yeah, right. That's a good perspective. Like you're at the blocks getting ready for the start, right? Kind of similar to that, but kind of like at the end range of it. Okay, so go ahead and inhale. 1, 2, 3. Hold and exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. You're doing the same thing. When you inhale, you drop your belly. When you exhale, you raise your back. So inhale, drop your belly down. 1, 2, 3. Hold. 1, 2. Exhale. Back comes up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. Okay, you can bring that knee back down. Okay, and we would do that on both sides. Okay, we're not going to do it for both sides for demonstration today, but both sides we would do that for, meaning your right leg would be up, your left leg would be up, etc. Same thing, I did not mention this. When you were on your side, we would have you rolling on both sides for that rib pull to get that shoulder back for that one as well. That would be done on both sides also. Okay. We doing good on time?
Yeah, we can do one more commercial break if you want to, and then or we can keep going either way.
Okay,
let's
keep going. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
So you're going to come up into high knees now. So you come up, just your knees. So you get up tall. Yep, that's a high kneeling position. We still good on camera, Scott?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So we're now in a high kneeling position. So this is the next position. Okay, so the high kneeling position, you're going to put your hands out to the side. And when you're going to inhale, you're going to turn your head to the right. So inhale, 1, 2, 3, hold 1, 2. Exhale, bring your head back to straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Do that again. Inhale, turn your head to the right. Hold 1, 2, 3. Exhale as you bring your head back straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if you're just listening, Ruby is now in a high kneeling position. That means she's just on her knees. And she has her hands out by her sides. Then as she inhales, she rotates her head to one direction. As she exhales, she brings her head back to straight. And I would have her do 5 repetitions to each direction, meaning head rotating to the right 5 times, head rotating to the left 5 times. Okay? So that's a high kneeling position. So now we're going to go into a half kneeling position. So just bring one foot forward in front of you. Yep, just like that. Okay. So now Ruby's in what we call a half kneeling position. So instead of both knees down, she's got one foot up in front of her and one knee down. Okay. And she's going to do the same thing in a half kneeling. Inhale, turn your head to the right. 1, 2, 3. Hold 1, 2. And come back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you're watching, this is a little bit more challenging position even for an athlete like Ruby. I see her moving a little bit, which is not abnormal. That's pretty normal. Okay. But if you have problems in this position, it's because your balance is going to be more challenged in this half kneeling position than a high kneeling position. Would you agree, Ruby? It's a little more difficult in this position, right? So I'm now progressing people through a more challenging position. So people that are athletes, they think, well, I'm pretty good. I don't need to work on my breathing. Well, I can, Ruby's an athlete and she's, I see her moving a little bit. So if Ruby were my patient coming in, I might look at additional things like core stability and things like that, hip strength and things like that. Because even my athletes that come in, there's always areas of weaknesses that they can focus on because, especially athletes that do just one kind of sport, they tend to forget about other parts of their body kind of thing. So this is a higher level activity. So if you're trying this at home and you're an older adult, this one could be really challenging for you as well. And you can see how breathing and this pattern could really help improve your balance. Okay. So let's come off the table now and we're going to do standing. We just got this last one here, Scott. Okay.
Sure.
All right. So Ruby, come back around to where you started. And just stand in front of the chair facing me. Yep. Okay, so now Ruby's just plainly standing up. We got her off the table. She's standing up. She's back on the camera. And this is going to be bending forward and standing back up. So you're going to raise your arms up in the air and take a deep breath in. 1, 2, 3. Hold 1, 2. And as you exhale, I want you to reach down towards the floor like you're going to touch your toes. Go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then come back up. Hands up over your head. And deep breath in. 1, 2, 3. Hold 1, 2. And down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, come on back up again. Now this time, both hands up over your head again. I really want you to think about that belly breathing, okay? So in this position, people tend to want to get back into that chest breathing again. And I got to really watch for that because as we do this progression, we really want to keep making sure we're focusing on that belly breathing. So arms up, try to push that belly out as you inhale. 1, 2, 3. Good. Hold 1, 2, and exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Great. Any dizziness or lightheadedness? If you are doing this at home and you feel some lightheadedness or dizziness, please sit down and be careful. We can go ahead and take a seat here. Working on breathing, you do have to be careful if you have blood pressure issues, heart issues. We want to make sure that you're breathing properly. We want to make sure that you're working properly on this dysfunctional breathing pattern and doing it the right way.
So it's a matter of technique and also strengthening, right? You're talking about strengthening the diaphragm and
Yeah, so you strengthen the diaphragm. Like I said, the diaphragm's a muscle that we can get stronger. But really, it's patterning. It's repatterning. So, people have talked about repatterning in athletics and things like that. So, but interestingly, this is one of those interesting things. We were born into the world of diaphragmatic breathing. If you have a newborn, an infant, a grandbaby, you watch them breathe, you see your belly rise, you see the belly fall. They're doing that diaphragmatic breathing. But we become chest breathers as we get older. So we're really getting back to our innate natural way of breathing when we're talking about diaphragmatic breathing. It's a more natural, relaxed breathing. If you guys are trying this at home, maybe you already fell asleep. Hopefully my show wasn't that boring, but it is very relaxing. And it's a way to relax before you go to bed. So if you hold a lot of tension, if you're stressed at work, work, just working this diaphragmatic breathing helps. If you suffer from low back pain, chronic pain, TMJ especially, we help you find that resting TMJ position. We help teach you how to properly diaphragmatic breathe before you fall asleep, because those people clench and grind their teeth at night. That's a real problem because of the tension. Doing the diaphragmatic breathing helps to prevent that clenching and grinding their teeth at night. It's part of our normal program for our TMJ patients. So has a lot of really great applications working on the belly breathing.
I want to ask Ruby your experience from doing that. Was there any of those that surprised you, the reaction you were getting, or any you think you would, if you continue your athletics, that you would maybe try to use? Or
I think I would definitely, as I keep going into hopefully going into more collegiate sports, I feel like those exercises specifically are definitely important for me to do every day. Because I tend to kind of do chest after I'm done with a competition or a meet. I'm kind of chest breathing. So doing those exercises every day, I feel like would be beneficial to me. So.
Very good.
Yeah, especially you talked about competitions. Like a lot of athletes, they have more than one competition, right? Like if you run track, you usually run a couple events, or if you're doing dance or gymnastics, you usually have one event and you go into another event. I'd be interested to see. I don't know if I've been watching the Olympics quite a bit, but I haven't really paid much attention. If I see them talking about some training programs and regimens, but I haven't really watched them talk about the breathing techniques. But I'm sure Olympic athletes work on breathing techniques at the highest level of, for one, to really help your body to recover, because proper breathing helps your body to recover faster. Number two, it helps you to relax. How many people have we seen mess up in their Olympic event because of stress and tension? Was probably a good likelihood of these supreme athletes that have practiced their whole life doing the same routine, and then they get to this high level and they mess up, the stress must be so high. So, but this relaxed breathing techniques, I think really, helps to relax the body, helps you to relax tension. If you had a long day at work, it's a good, easy, natural way to relax your body. If you're having trouble falling asleep at night, you suffer from insomnia or something like that, it's a good way to kind of relax the body and kind of relax the mind, relax the tension that's going through your body. So, from an athlete to a stressed adult to, someone that just wants to improve their overall health, learning these techniques are really beneficial.
How do you tell yourself when you're laying down at night to focus, to breathe more nose or breathe more from your diaphragm? How do you do the mental process of reminding yourself?
We go back to the initial steps. So usually for most people, I start with lying on their back if they're trying to fall asleep, unless you're a side sleeper, but lying on your back, putting your hands on your belly, and just inhaling and exhaling through your nose. When you inhale, hands on your belly, you feel the pressure through the belly rises. As you exhale, the belly drops. You have that exhaling of the breath, and it just helps do that for a couple minutes, and you'll probably fall asleep before you realize you're still doing it. And then you wake up and oh, that did put me right back to sleep, kind of thing. It's very effective, and it's not a new concept. It's been around a long time, but there's been more research coming out to really focus on. How do we test this? How do the dysfunctional breathing test? Is a fairly new test. It's not been out very long. The research I'm talking about that we did with Ruby today, that just came out in 2020. So this is pretty new cutting edge stuff that people are starting to dive into deeper and say, hey, there's more to this than maybe we think. Let's do some research and figure it out. And so now we have some evidence-based information. This evidence-based information are the interventions that I demonstrated today with Ruby that you guys watched on Facebook Live or listened into on the radio today. So these are evidence-based interventions that helped 80% of the people with dysfunctional breathing patterns, which is a pretty high number of success. You have a success rate of 80%. That's pretty warranted and good evidence-based information for us to work with.
We talked about athletes. What is it you see, especially in football? They'll use the nose strips. They'll have the strip on their nose. Is there science behind that, or does that work, or why are they doing that?
So the nose strips I don't know how much research is behind those. I mean, you see so many things come out and is this a fad? Does this really help or not? I don't know the research. Maybe there is research behind it, but the premise behind it is to increase the oxygen intake that you're able to take through your nose. So it's just kind of trying to increase the size of the hole that the air is going through to get you more air through your nose, inhaling. So that's the premise behind it. Someone had a good idea, but I'm not sure if, what the science behind it is, to be honest. honest, for that. So, but a lot of the information that we get is from subjective information. People, the athletes come back and they say, oh yeah, this really does help me out. I feel like I recover better. I'm getting better oxygen, that kind of thing. And so, some of the information that we get is just based on, that subjective information. So.
Okay. We have one more commercial break to get in. We'll be right back with more. Dale Reckless from MRS Physical Therapy.
Eating a balanced diet can lead to good health. Having good balance can also save your life, especially if you are a part of a high-wire act. Furthermore, balanced tires on your car will run quieter and wear longer. But not all balance is good. This is Kalen from Freedom United Federal Credit Union. An existing balance on a high-rate credit card is definitely something to rid yourself of. That's why I would like to use the balance of this commercial to tell you about Freedom United's limited time Visa transfer special. Through March 31st, with approved credit, you can transfer those exorbitant balances from other credit cards and finance companies over to our low 6.99% fixed rate Visa. The special low fixed rate applies to all new balance transfers. Don't leave things hanging in the balance. Get it? Visit freedomunitedfcu.com for more details now and put a little freedom in your future. Member NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Listen to Beaver County Radio every Monday and Friday in the 11 o'clock hour for the Beaver County Humane Society's Pick of the Litter. We'll be highlighting one resident animal from the shelter that needs a loving home. Pick of the Litter is being brought to you each and every Monday and Friday by Tom Sipes Demolition, Nally Elias and Associates, Balcones Moon Township Ford, Freedom United Federal Credit Union, the Alvarez Hahn Funeral Home, J. Young Refuse, McGee Heating and Air Conditioning, and Beaver County Radio. Check out the Pick of the Litter on our website at beavercountyradio.com.
Patriot Home Care is now hiring caregivers. Are you a caring and compassionate individual looking for a reliable income with benefits? Then call Patriot Home Care today. Benefits include health insurance, life insurance, paid vacation after 1 year, and 1.5 times hourly pay for overtime plus holiday hours. Patriot Home Care employees provide personal care, conversation and companionship, medication reminders, light housekeeping and laundry, meal preparation, and errands. Start your career in home care today and call Patriot Home Care at 724-506-8911 or apply online at patriothomecare.org.
Our Lady of the Valley Parish is inviting you to one of the best Lenten fish fries in the Valley at the St. Cecilia Hall on California Avenue in Rochester. The fish fries get underway on Friday, February the 20th, and will be every Friday throughout the Lenten season from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. There will be fish sandwiches fried for $12, baked for $14. Fried fish dinners are $15, baked for $16. Shrimp dinners, they're $15. Fish or shrimp salads are $14, and the Chesapeake Bay dinner is just $17, and it includes fish, shrimp, and crab cakes. Dinners also include coleslaw and a choice of French fries, mac and cheese, or pierogies. Yummy pies for dessert, but that's a little bit extra. You can eat in or take out, or they deliver from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Credit cards are also accepted. Call 724-775-3775 or 724-709-7426.
Remember way back when you were young and the bus ride to and from school set the tone for what made your day special? School buses and vans have had a special place in the Fry family for 3 generations. At Fry Transportation, the student transportation industry is embraced as a tradition, privilege, and lifestyle. From the morning laughs on the way to school to the talk about the day on the way home. Memories you won't forget, just like the vintage football games aired each week on Beaver County Radio. Fry Transportation, caring for your children as they care for their own.
If you own a company or a small business, you might have considered advertising on radio. It's smart because radio is still the most far-reaching media outlet today. WBVP and WMBA can get you results. Get more information at beavercountyradio.com.
Put freedom in your future. Freedom United Federal Credit Union in Rochester.
Coming at you from the Fry Transportation Group studios, it is 9:53 on this Wednesday morning. We have studio guest Dale Reckless from MRS Physical Therapy. Also, we have Ruby from Central Valley High School. Has been our demonstration, put you through the test there, but you're doing good. I appreciate you being here.
Yep.
If it wasn't you, that would have been me on that table. So your timing was perfect. But we're learning from Dale talking about breathing and the importance of breathing. And what are the after effects of how does that make you healthier and what does that do for you overall?
Yeah, so breathing is obviously your oxygen intake, which is what keeps you healthy. So if you have dysfunctional breathing patterns, then it's going to affect your oxygen intake. It's going to affect how your body heals. And we also know that the cylinder, which is your core, is important to be strong for things like low back pain. And so what we talked about today is really strengthening some of the inner core muscles that we don't talk about a whole lot. We talk about the external core muscles that are the visible muscles, like the six-pack that you see. But we talked more today about the internal core muscles that are very important for solidifying your core, but are often kind of missed or omitted in an exercise program. Things like working on your diaphragm, which is a muscle that we can strengthen. Things like working on the multifidus and transverse muscles that are the surrounding muscles around your cylinder of your core. So, like I said earlier, 80% of us as adults are dysfunctional breathers. And 80% of those that are dysfunctional breathers, we can improve that through these interventions that we talked about today that we provide at MRS Physical Therapy as one of our unique programs. Like, I talk about a lot of our unique programs like our vestibular rehab program, our TMJ program, things like that are sometimes not traditional for physical therapists for all of them to do, but we offer all those programs at MRS Physical Therapy. So we can take care of any age, any need that you have. And we also operate under direct access, which means you don't need a script to come see us. So if Ruby decided, I want to go see Dale at MRS Physical Therapy to work on my breathing more, she doesn't need to see the doctor. She can just come and see us. And we are good to treat her for 30 days under our direct access program. So that's another nice option, too. You don't have to see the doctor and spend that extra copay for something simple like this.
Yeah. Office one is in Stone Point Landing in Bridgewater. Right
yeah, so we have two offices. One is in Bridgewater, right in the heart of Bridgewater in Stone Point Landing. The address is 500 Market Street, so right in the old Keystone Bread building, the big building right in Bridgewater, Stone Point Landing. If you want to get a hold of us at that number for any Beaver County residents, that number is 724-728-7550. And then we have another office in Cranberry Township. That office is on Route 19 right next to currently North Park Lounge, soon to be called Sensi's Deckhouse. And the telephone number there is 724-591-8121. So either of those locations, we carry the programs that help you out. We take all insurances, so no matter what your insurance is, no matter what your age, no matter what your diagnosis is, we feel confident we can help you. And we got voted Best Physical Therapy Clinic in 2025 as well as 2026. So we're doing something right. So people are appreciating the work that we do and helping them out. And I really think it comes down to the attentiveness that we have to our patients, the one-on-one care we provide, and the opportunity for being able to treat all diagnosis and take all insurances as well. No matter what it is, we're going to help take care of our community.
You're also active on Facebook, I know, and the website is...
The website is mrsphysicaltherapy.com. If you want to check that out, we have a lot of the programs that we do. You can find on mrsphysicaltherapy.com website. We actually have some free exercises listed on there. So if you went to your doctor and the doctor says, you have sciatica, you can look that up on our website. It's better than Googling it. We only use the evidence-based exercises, and it'll show you a couple simple exercises you can try. And let's be honest, a lot of us try to heal ourselves first before coming to see a physical therapist. A lot of us wait till the pain's too bad, and then we're finally like, I better go see Dale, kind of thing. I get that. So if you want to try, some of these exercises on your own first, have at it. And then, if it doesn't work out, then you give me a call and I'll take care of you and we'll fix you up.
And again, we'll have this on Facebook page and on our YouTube page as well. So if you wanted to go back and see what Dale was talking about and see what Ruby was put through, that's your chance. Ruby, anything you want to say about the program you just did with Dale and anything?
I just think it was very helpful. I didn't really realize how much breathing went into all the activities and everything, because you don't really think about that.
Yeah.
You really just think about your performance until you actually get off of after you're done, and you're just kind of heavy breathing. So I feel like that was really useful and helpful that I can definitely use. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. And even as an athlete, you saw some of those things were a little bit challenging for you. So this really is for everybody. Whether you have a kid, it's yourself listening, or a grandkid that's a baseball player, an athlete, or runner, or gymnast, or whatever it is. These breathing patterns help to strengthen your core and your stability muscles as well. So really has some great overall benefits. So I'm really excited for this program for people that want to partake in it.
Okay, well, Dale, thank you very much.
Us out, Ruby.
Yeah,
appreciate
thank you.
Yes, we do appreciate it, Ruby. Dale, thanks for coming in. Look forward to your next visit as well. So
yep.
Take care.
Have a good one.
You too.
Tune in to 99.3 and 90.